You Googled Ayurveda and got 47 golden milk recipes. You brought ashwagandha on Amazon Prime, but you still crashed at 3 p.m. Spoiler, that's not Ayurveda. That's a bastardized American version. I am Monica Groover from Vedic Arts, and today we are stripping this Instagram social media filter of this 1,000-year-old philosophy and science. Before your doshas, file a complaint. I had a very dear yoga teacher. I used to go to her yoga studio in San Diego. And she was doing Ashtanga yoga, the Mysore style, for 40 years before she switched to Iyengar and, more restorative styles as she aged. And she would always tell me yoga is bastardized and Manjalali, you watch, this is going to happen to Ayurveda do. And I was like, no, it's can never happen to Ayurveda. Ayurveda will never get bastardized because there are people like me. There's so many amazing Ayurveda practitioners out there. They're lighting the light, but heck, I was wrong. I eat crow. There is a bastardized American unholy Ayurvedic version out there, and I stand corrected. So, what has happened to Ayurveda in the USA? This is a subject that I and many, many other Ayurveda practitioners, Ayurvedic doctors, we've been talking about for the last 4 or 5 years. I know as a director of an Ayurveda school that the students' numbers have declined in a lot of schools. People are not interested in studying Ayurveda as much as they were before. Part of it is because of the pandemic. People want to do other stuff. But it is also kind of morphed into something else. Ayurveda is not just a chai and turmeric lattes and golden milk or chocolate bone broths at Whole Foods. It is not wellness porn. It's your prana, it's your chi, it's your vitality's operating system. The truth is that globally, Ayurveda is riding a wave of consumer demand for natural, holistic wellness products like herbs and other wellness products and so on, especially for chronic health issues, post pandemic immunity focus. There are eco conscious trends all over the world. But the problem is Ayurveda becoming a mainstream powerhouse like yoga became in the US. That's what I'm talking about. That's not happening. Yoga came, it was just an extreme form of stretching 30 years ago, and now it's so mainstream. That's where Ayurveda has not been able to break into the mainstream USA. Probably it will get there. At this point, it's not happening. Now, what has broken in the mainstream USA are the supplements. Ashwagandha, turmeric, ghee, dirty chai. I don't know. These are the things that have broken into mainstream USA. Ayurveda was presented to the people of the earth from higher beings and then written down at a time when there was no electricity, when there was no Wi Fi, when there were no screens. It was a blueprint on how to live our lives so we wouldn't get sick, A. B, we would be balanced. And yeah, having a life without screens and having a more natural lifestyle would anyway balance us. And what to eat when we are unbalanced and what to do in different seasons. And basically align ourselves with the nature. And tell me how are we going to do that in the city's jungle when we are surrounded by warehouses and buildings and cement and roads. There's not enough greenery. How are we going to achieve balance when we are stuck in traffic for hours at the end and our senses are overloaded and the stress and anxiety of just getting up in the morning and going through the day can be stressful. In a city life, we have stress of having a job, keeping money. And then, of course, let's not forget the political climate. How are we going to do that? So it's a little hard to follow Ayurveda, especially if you live in the city jungle, as I call it. But we can do a little bit at a time. We can get started. Ideally, we want to be aligned with nature. How are we going to be aligned with nature when we go to bed really, really late and we wake up really late? We need coffee to wake up. Basically, our lives messed up. Ayurveda was written by sages and brought down to earth by higher beings. And we are not, as a society, meant to be living in city traffic and looking at screens. And the kind of life that we live in this postmodern industrial society is not what Ayurveda was written for. So trying to have an Ayurvedic wellness as we live a very Rajasic on the go lifestyle actually is not going to help. We have to change our lifestyle. And one thing is, a lot of people think Ayurveda means you can have herbal smoothies or have spa days. In Charaka Samhita, Sutrasthana, it says, Hita hidam sukham dukham ayush tasya hitayitam. Basically talks about our life, how to have a wholesome life or a unwholesome life. Hita ahita, sukha dukha. Hit means auspicious, ahit inauspicious, sukha means happy, and dukha means really in suffering. So we can only live four types of life. Either we are unhappy or happy, or we have a mixed bag, or we have an auspicious and inauspicious life. The worst is inauspicious because it goes beyond this life. We'll die, we will take birth again, and we will leave the planet worse for our children. That's the worst. And there's hellish planets for that. So basically, Ayurveda is not a trend. It's basically a user manual for your life, this life and your life beyond, and what you will carry forward. Ayurveda is for three types of people: Ayurveda for sattvic people, tamasic people, and rajasic people. You like your meat, you like to have drinks, you want to eat a lot of animal based foods. There's a tamasic and rajasic type Ayurveda that allows you to do that with limitations so you would not make yourself sick. If you want to have a sattvic lifestyle and not have uh, a sattvic lifestyle is a more balanced lifestyle where, when you die and you're thinking about what is going to happen to me when I die, and I do not want to go to hell, or I want to have a better life next time, then you follow the sattvic Ayurveda. So there's something for everybody in Ayurveda. Don't get me wrong. So I follow the sattvic plant based Ayurveda quite frankly. So if we were to actually follow Ayurveda the way it was written, it's like buying a Tesla and you never have to charge it. You just follow the rules. And think of doshas as your operating system, your body's software. So in Charaka says, Vata Pitta Kapha Treha Doshaha. There are three types of, our operating system has the software, which is the Vata, Pitta, Kapha. And Vata is air, and Pitta is fire, and Kapha is earth and water. And Vata is air and space, and Pitta is fire and fiery water, not regular water. In conclusion, Ayurveda was never meant for the convenient lifestyle. And honestly, I went to India this year, and as an outsider, now that I've lived outside for 2 decades, I saw this is same thing happening in India. The convenient lifestyle, the evil necessity of having convenience is taken over India as well. My precious Bharat, my precious country. And yeah, what to do? It's when you live in a modern society, a post industrial nation, things are different. When I was growing up in the 70s and 80s in India, and it was a developing country, I mean, we didn't even have, we had 1 hour of TV in the evening talking about agriculture and farms. And then the first time color TV came was in 1982 because they had some Asian games or something like that. And we didn't even have a fridge till I was like 6 or 7 years old. So food would be cooked, and whatever did not get used would be given to cows or, animals. So it was a very natural lifestyle. And can you imagine that in a city like Delhi now? I do have to say Delhi is gorgeous. It's so green and beautiful, but the traffic and the air quality is makes it a little hellish. And how are we going to follow Ayurveda if you live in hellish places where we can't even breathe? So I love Delhi, don't get me wrong, but if you can't breathe, it's hellish in my opinion. So that's it. I moved to Florida, to a very green place, and I want to follow Ayurveda in my life. And I'm here to help if you're interested in an Ayurvedic consultation. Thank you.